Hello, I'm Steve Monkey Mason and welcome to the final podcast for Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. I'm joined once again by Paul Ray. Hi Paul, who's had connection issues. Carl McSorley, who I've been talking to for the last 10 minutes while Paul checks himself, and Carl hasn't realised we also have the one
and only Mr. Jack! Alright guys?
What do you mean? What do you mean has Carl not realised? That's not how phones work, mate.
He's been sitting there all that time dead quiet.
What the fuck?
Right,
hello, Jack. I would have said hello earlier if I knew you were there.
Sorry, I was just thinking.
Being rude.
I was waiting to see what you'd say about this, Carl.
So anyway, we're going to press play on 3, 2, 1. And once again, the Paramount Mountain goes into a molehill this time. Not a molehill, is it? It's a bloody groundhog. Gopher. Fucking squirrel. And there's the font again. There's the font.
See, now, it's horrible because you can barely read it. I'm watching on Blu-ray, by the way. I can barely work any of that out, but at least it's consistent this time around. I mean, there's only been, Temple of Doom, where they changed it?
Yeah, this is slightly different because it has the black inside it. But you can still see the pixelation. Right? I hate that font. Totally different film, this.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know, it feels like, this is what I'm going to be a bit hazy on because I literally have only seen this once, and that was when it first came out.
I'm the same, Carl.
For a lot of people, you only really need to see it once. So, it's going to be a little bit more, I'm going to start recognising things again as I see it, but it's amazing you watched all these, haven't you, like, in the last few days?
I just watched this the last couple of days and I was a bit like, I was a bit grim with it. I did notice that there was somebody who directed Secret Window, David Killop, worked on it as well. But obviously, like, I mean, I'm surprised this is a Spielberg film. I'm surprised it wasn't just passed off to somebody else to do. But again, Spielberg has a massive love for Shia LaBeouf, and this is one of the films that Shia LaBeouf was like, after this, I'm done, really, innit?
I don't know, the thing with Shia LaBeouf is that, like, deep down, fucking way deep down, there's a fucking brilliant actor in there somewhere.
Oh, he's class.
And I think a lot of it, you do get this issue where you can't not kind of judge him on his personal life. So, like, if he hadn't done all the crazy shit outside of his film, I don't know if he'd probably get a little bit more respect, but I think people are just using him as a bit of a punchline now these days.
Frank Marshall's still involved. That's where the black mailbox is. I've just recently watched Paul. There you go, story by David Kellop. And this is obviously a throwback to the original, isn't it, with the Area 51?
Yeah.
Well, in the original, in the original, I didn't know it was actually Area 51 until this film came out, really, did we? So that was a nice little, send off to the first one. But I like how it's placed in the 50s, and obviously you had Bill Elvis at the start, and the old rock and roll.
It's quite a little jump, like, on production-wise.
It was 19 years from the last one.
I was just about to say what timeline, but yeah, 19 years, that was, yeah.
This is totally like a rock intro, and the fucking baddie renegades come out and wipe them all out.
I gotta say, I do love the first half of this film. Like the Area 51, the alien thing, I actually really do like it. The way it's shot is really good. But then it goes a bit mental in like the second and the third act. But yeah, I love the first half of it. You got restricted area, that must be Area 51.
I mean, I remember the hype was real. The trailer was massive when the trailer came out because it was all like the shadowing and them in the back. And obviously George Lucas is back, Spielberg, it's all Frank Marshall, Harrison Ford's back, Shia LaBeouf's in, obviously riding high off Transformers. But it's just so...
Like I said, the trailer was amazing. I think I watched the trailer more than this film itself. But let's say there was two films at the time, Balboa and Indiana Jones, and Balboa was such a better film. And then I would never thought I would say that, like, but...
Well, the one that same thing, weren't they? Like, a film that from such a long time ago, and whether or not it's actually going to pulled up from the original, and obviously Balboa did it right. This one not so much.
Balboa?
As in Rocky.
Although,
Which one's that?
Number
Rocky
6.
Balboa.
No, there's only four.
Rocky Balboa.
There's only 4 Rockies. There's no 5, 6, or 7th. They don't exist.
There isn't a 7th anyone. That's Creed.
You know what I meant.
What about Creed 2?
Balboa
I
is
can just
amazing.
forget about that as well, because that was a pile of shit as well.
Shut up, man. Balboa's mate.
No, it's not.
Do you think Rocky Balboa's a pile of shit?
Aye. Everything past 4 is shit.
Wow.
Shut up, man.
Oh, man.
Get him off this podcast.
Paul, I can easily press this hang up button, you know. You can't hang up on me. I can hang up on you though. I'm here. I'm live.
Excellent, I can actually watch this in peace.
I just hear static. It sounds like a voice, but I don't know. I don't understand.
Right, just calm down. This is about Indiana Jones, not Rocky, okay? Introduce Ray Winston, obviously very famous actor, one of the very few British actors who's broke Hollywood and became an establishment.
Yeah.
Again, John Hurt's in this as well, so they've cast a lot from Britain, haven't they, on it? She was in Hot Fuzz the other night, and I was like, who the fuck's her? She plays Simon Pegg's girlfriend, but you never see her face. At the crime scene.
Goddamn Russians.
When they've all got the masks on, she plays his
Really? Is what his ex?
his ex.
No way.
It's too much green screens, too much. I don't know. Spielberg though, what was Spielberg doing before and after this?
Not do superhero. No. How's it called, man?
2008. So,
Oh, what's it called, man? The one with the aliens in it, man.
What aliens?
Spielberg film.
Independence.
Oh, what's it called, man?
Super 8.
That's it.
It's not a Spielberg film.
Yes, it is.
It's a
He
J.J.
produced
Abrams.
it. He produced
Is
it.
it?
Aye.
Oh.
It's JJ. He produced it all.
Do you know how you guys told me to leave? I'll see you later.
I mean, told us shut up, yes, from Mason, so it's alright.
I know you haven't been told to shut up yet.
Well, we've talked about in this last podcast. There was an idea for this in the 90s, but obviously got shelved because of Independence Day. And like everyone goes, oh, for fuck's sake, they brought aliens in. Of course they're going to bring aliens in. It's George Lucas and Steven Spielberg.
I think it was the tone they used with it though, because I mean, it seemed a little bit too supernatural for this franchise. Yet that kind of, I understand that doesn't make sense, because I don't think people really saw I don't know if there's like the supernatural side of it, but like even Last Crusade was very supernatural, you know, fucking old dude drinking from a cup and surviving 100 years, you know what I mean? So it was more the fact that it was such a low tone of the supernatural, you still believed it. It was still very much history rather than being like.
Oh, it's supernatural. It's speculation.
Or sci-fi.
Just pointing out to Jack there, like the only thing real was them walking. The rest of the pan back was fucking all digital.
And you can tell that though. That's the crazy thing. It's like this is where we're in the era of the early 2000s where if you don't use your CGI right, it just looks like stand out like a sore thumb.
I don't think it just didn't look good, especially when I was watching it the other night. It seemed to go on for
You
ages
get glasses
as well.
on.
I just took the glasses off actually.
And this is actually like again going back to like money doesn't make a good film, because this is like the budget on this is massive compared to the others. So like the others were talking like 30 million, we're talking 40 million. This is 185 million pounds. $185 million. It's just mental money.
How much did it make
Just
in the
for
box office?
insurance.
Well, that's it, yeah. It made a lot, like. It did do, well, it did just shy of 800 million.
That's because I went to pictures twice to see it, and I still came out crying at the end of it, like the South Park episode. So, did you get rid
Well,
of
actually, I mean, people are going to go and watch this regardless, you know what I mean? It's like, this was always going to make money, doesn't matter what it was like.
It was in that era.
I gotta say, Harrison Ford absolutely looks amazing.
He does.
I mean, for his age, he still looks amazing.
I mean, this is
Oh,
going
he
to.
definitely put some gym work in.
I was going to say as well, though, this is like before we had that nostalgia throwback, like when they did obviously Jurassic World and all the prequels, sequels, and all this. This was like at a weird time, you know. Everyone was wanting, but people were more wanting remakes at this time, weren't they?
Yeah, well, that was just what was being dished out, though, wasn't it?
Now, Ray Winston, like I said, he's a really good actor, but in this, he's a good guy, a bad guy, a good guy, a bad guy. He's a secret agent, but he's not. Now, what about Jones?
I see him as more of a flawed character, though. I wouldn't like necessarily put him down as good guy or bad guy. I just think like he's just so easily swayed.
It just changes all the time.
Kind of like, because you think of someone who was like you can go from good to bad, or you can go vice versa. But because he switches back so often, I'd say that like just more or less written. He's just a flawed character. He's just not someone you want to rely on.
Would you have cast Harrison Ford in Ready Player One?
Say again?
Would you have cast Harrison Ford in Ready Player One?
For what role?
The main antagonist, the villain. I always felt the villain was a bit weak.
I don't know, I like him, but at the same time, I don't know if I can ever buy Harrison Ford as bad guy.
Yes, I don't think he has done a bad guy. Many bad guys, has he?
No, I think we mentioned this in the last one. I don't think he has, no. It's just one
No,
of
he
those
has.
things
What
that-
lies beneath?
He's bad in that.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah. See, I'm worth something. This may be the only thing I get right tonight, but hey ho.
Well, yeah, we offered Big
Well, I've
Dave.
never seen that, so...
You've never seen What Lies Beneath?
No, too busy watching Rocky Balboa.
He's me thinking we could be friends.
I was,
Alright. Well, do you remember my name? Because that was the introduction to us, wasn't
Of course I can, Keith.
it?
Those dog tags are so CGI, aren't they? I've seen them.
Oh, they
Everything
with the
like
eye,
that,
yes, aye.
Yeah.
It's probably spent 2 million on that.
there's a bit later on where the headlights are on in broad daylight. Even the headlights are CGI, and I
Like
was
when
like,
they walked into the
why?
case there, though, it was too bad.
There is the head. It's an alien, isn't it? So, dun dun.
Roswell, New Mexico.
Getting a little ahead, but do you think they're going to learn from this for the next Indiana Jones film?
I don't know. Like, if they
Because
should
we
do
all
it.
thought about Indiana Jones in the modern world, you know what I mean?
Well,
like
sure.
a lot of what works for the original films at the time they were made, it's such a good timing for them films, but it's like if you put a modern film out there now, it's just like it's hard not to use CGI, or it's hard not to keep it grounded.
Well, at the end of the day, they haven't got Shia LaBeouf back yet, from what we know. And it might
But
work
you see,
if.
okay, I'll say that about this film. Sorry, I'll interrupt just to say that I will go early on. I don't necessarily think Shia LaBeouf's the worst thing about this film.
No.
It's certainly not the best thing. But when people shit on this film, 99% of the time you're going to hear someone say, "Oh, I put Shia LaBeouf."
No.
Doing what I wanted them to do. I think the story's messed up rather than anything else.
I think what they should have done. I mean, what they should do is Harrison Ford should take that, like the Sean Connery role in the next one, and be a passing of the torch and just pass the character along, and maybe he's got a new trilogy, but it needs to be the right. I mean, again, if Shia LaBeouf wants to do it, that's fair play, do it, but.
Nah, I think it's too late. I wouldn't say it's definitely the worst thing about this film, but I would say that for this franchise, it's a little bit too far gone. It's a generic option, but I think Chris Pratt's still up there for me. It's just one of those roles where I feel like you can take it on. I'd rather them do that than any more Jurassic Parks.
What's wrong with Jurassic Park?
The new ones. The fucking shit. That's
No. Jurassic World's really good.
Aye. Oh man, it's ridiculous. Let's just go on the last one, right? They literally designed the best dinosaur in the world, right? To spend 15-20 minutes explaining how great this dinosaur is, how much of a super breed he is, yet 3 human beings can still sit underneath them behind a box and you can't smell them. It's just little details like that, that's bullshit, you know what I mean? Don't give us 20 minutes of how great this dinosaur is and then bail on the first bloody sign of a predator. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be able to sniff things out.
Well, that's definitely a podcast down the line. Now, this was heavily trailered, wasn't it? The whip and the whole, like, he's getting too old for this shit. Similar kind of thing that they did with Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Last Stand.
Yeah. Although that worked for me.
That's mint Last Stand.
It just when it goes down, I thought I was closer.
It's a little bit dark, but you're chuckling just a little bit.
Stephen,
It's the bit where it crashes into the boxes on the truck,
Yeah,
and it's so CGI
bad.
any second now. You know what I mean? Like there, bloody hell.
Oh, there
those
it is.
crates just exploded.
that's a nice little crossover to the Grail, though, isn't it? Sorry, the Ark.
Yeah.
You don't know him. You don't know him, Boris. Jones.
I mean, that's a real stunt there, but like. So, Carl, are you alive yet? Because that's pretty. Carl's new thing on podcast is Carl's dead yet. Could you make it?
Well, Jack, do you not like watch a film and go like, we always talk about the underwater scenes and stuff like that. You not just sit there and think, the time of being underwater, like, would you physically make it? Because you're quite a fit lad, so I would say that you've probably got a little bit more chance than me. But in general, do you not like watch films and go, I would have totally fucking died of that path?
So I can swim. In my heyday, I could swim the length of a proper Olympic-sized swimming pool and halfway back before I had to come up. So you're looking at what, 25? Sometimes it depends how they're swimming. You can't just swim.
And you know how to look after yourself, you can fight, so therefore you would probably stand a bit of a hand-to-hand combat, I would imagine.
Digital clocks there, though, Paul Ray, we were talking about the other day, weren't we?
Yeah, they weren't around apparently in that era.
Now, this has been used a few times. This is Terminal Velocity's got one of these. I'm trying to think what else has one of these. Die Hard.
Running Man.
Yeah.
Well, obviously Time Cop. It's Time Cop all over again.
Definitely. Hey, this guy should have been Bomber, who he's fighting with. Would have been a nice homage. I don't even know if he's still alive, actually.
Doink. Totally different looks of face as crossed over. It's forgetting it's in Terminal Velocity. I'm sure it's used in another film as well.
What, those test things?
Or like one of the test things. And of course we're leading to the nuclear town, aren't we?
Which is really good, actually. Like I said, I love this first half of this film. I said I love the setup of it, like in the 50s, and the American nuclear bombs and stuff, and the testing. Kind of reminds me of Hills of Eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
The nuclear testing in the facility.
It's fucking dead creepy, like when he fucking realizes. But like again, wasn't it? Obviously, this frowned upon, like the fridge, but wasn't it used in? Was it not in one of the Fallout games or something where they found like the skeleton in the Indiana Jones stuff and said, "Nah, I wouldn't have fucking survived that."
Well, wasn't there supposed to be Back to the Future was supposed to be a fridge, or Bill and Ted was supposed to be a fridge, wasn't it? Like a time machine.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm sure it was, and that's a bit of a knock back to it. I'm sure it was Back to the Future.
Look at the edge fading going on with it though as well. It's getting like almost that like noir kind of look to like an advert kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, especially in the early 2000s, like it's a lot of edge enhancement, like not HDR, like DNR, like digital noise reduction. A lot of films used it, especially like I said in the early 2000s.
Kaboom! It's coming, the big bomb.
It's funny because it's 20 minutes into the film already, and it's been nothing but action. You know what I mean?
That's completely different. The Last Crusade. The atom bomb.
That just reminds me of Nuketown.
Fallout.
No, Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. I'm sorry, I don't play Call of Duty.
Yeah, definitely.
Not cool enough.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sure if you guys have a look on Fallout, they found Indiana Jones dead on it. Hide in the fridge.
Thing is, though, with the fridge, I mean, what I remember when it blew up, I mean, it's a kind of strong door, like that. I mean, I know, I'm going to say it now, it's just a film, I know. But, you know, if you're going to, like, really use the fridge to be, like, look how clever we are, it's lead lined, it's going to save them. But
It's the flying, man. It's like he gets propelled. Do you know what I mean? Well, that doesn't look good. Like the fridge has just overtook the car.
Yeah.
Like you're dead on that impact.
Not a chance anyone surviving that. And the doors stays closed as well.
I mean, I watched it.
I struggle to keep my door closed if I accidentally put the milk in the wrong way.
Yeah, in early drafts, the time machine was the refrigerator that had to be transported to an atomic bomb testing site in Back to the Future. So that was a bit of a nod to it.
I mean, what a visual this is, though. Him coming up the hill to the bomb. I mean, that's you just need to put. You can make a mint poster of that. Do you know what I mean? It's mint imagery. I remember watching. Have you guys seen the film Big Game with Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh, is that the one with the Swedish one?
Yeah,
with the Swedish kid or something.
I think he's Finnish kid. Oh, it's mint. But there's a bit where they get stuck in a refrigerator, going down a hill, and all you hear is Samuel Jackson going, "Motherfucker, fucking head, fuck me," just bang bong, bing bong.
It's looking quite
Do you
good
know how
there.
outdated these films? These films are so dated because it has a janitor from Scrubs, isn't it?
Oh, that's
That's
a
how
lot
you update these films.
Yeah.
To the left there.
Obviously, looks like the product as well as colour correction as well, because it's got like a proper blue tone to it now, isn't it?
definitely, yeah. See, Mason, this is where I would agree with you that we should have had short round in this.
Oh yeah, totally. That would have been like enough time had passed.
Age-wise, you would have been like almost not indie age, but you would have been like at least in his mid-20s now.
But if you have a short round, you can't really have Shia LaBeouf. It could have been good as a cameo.
Yeah. Like even if he's looking through a file or something, say, oh, you know, what about this guy? Oh, yeah, we don't want to discuss him.
I mean,
The best thing about this
he's from
so
Neighbours,
far
isn't
is
he?
that
The guy who's just come in, the general, he's from Neighbours.
Oh, he is, aye.
Is that right?
He's been in loads, like.
I like it how it's like doing a bit of Roswell that he's like cut it off and they go pick pieces up of a record, like a record like spaceship, and he doesn't know about it. He just left with no answers. I like that kind of idea.
Why have I just had a kind of feeling? Is there some kind of crazy skeleton monkey type things in this?
Crazy skeleton monkey type things.
With Shia LaBeouf and...
Oh, there's monkeys in Shia LaBeouf, aye.
I know
He
there's...
swings with them.
No, I'll tell you when it comes on, because I'm sure it happened like that. I must have been tripping balls when I watched it.
There's a scary monkey things in The Mummy.
No.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
We'll move on, because I'm sure. I'm probably wrong.
Ah!
See, we're back to this scene again. This is basically in every film, isn't it?
This is the same as the when they come to the university and lay down the plot.
Sorry, I don't know. You're in the classroom, aren't you?
No, we're in the. We've just got the classroom now. Wait, we just got the university now.
So they've changed it because they've had him leave the room, but every other scene they've done in every other film has been him in the middle of teaching someone, and then some old bloke comes in.
Well, this guy here obviously isn't hot fussed, but the guy who it passed by then, the other actor is dead by now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of references.
Yeah.
There's a painting of him, and then when they hit the statue later on, that's him as well.
Yeah. Jim Broadbent, he's in everything, isn't he?
Yeah.
See, you'll see the painting behind them here talking, I think it is.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit ahead of you, but that's alright, yeah.
Oh, he's just been fired, isn't he, because of the Homeland Security?
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
I mean, he must have made a fortune. Why is he still teaching? There you go. There
So
he
he
is.
doesn't do it for the money,
Oh,
mate.
yes,
He does it
aye.
for the love.
Yeah, Marcus. Well, it's like Ghostbusters 2016, isn't it, with the Harold Ramis bus outside the office?
Well, Will Smith as well, Independence Day 2.
And don't class that as a film.
The less they said about that one, the better.
That's one Jack likes. You do, don't you?
No,
Yeah.
I've never seen it, to be honest.
Well, it looks like he's learned to pack a bit better than the last time we seen him packing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He's not just throwing stuff in.
He's matured over the years.
He has aged well,
put it
has
out there
Harrison,
just
right?
because they're terrible. Sorry?
He's aged well.
What? Oh, definitely. Like you say, he looked after himself. But I was about to just get them out of the way because they're absolutely god awful. Taglines for this film, there is only two. And one is, in May, the adventure continues.
That's terrible.
The adventure continues. That's it. It's,
Wow.
exactly. Moving. I really
The
want
May one's out of date.
Oh, see, right there's Sean Connery and Marcus again, right? As a cameo.
Yeah.
Why couldn't that have been short round? Because we've already got one Marcus cameo.
You guys love short round a little bit way too much.
I'm just flaming.
Well, not really, because I mean, it changed his life, didn't it? I mean, he brought him over to America. He's got him like being trained as an archaeologist. It would have had an impact on his character.
Unless it tried to, yeah, but it's no Winnie Scott or anything, is there?
Now, the thing is to know is Sean Connery was still alive when this was made.
Yeah.
So he could have had a cameo.
But
But
he
no,
retired,
because his
though, didn't
character would have been. Well, yeah, he would have been. But I mean, how old was his character in the last one?
Oh, I don't know. But here comes Shia LaBeouf in. Mud. Mr. Mud.
he? Mutt.
Mutt.
What?
Not Mud.
Sorry. My name is Mutt.
Like I said, Shia LaBeouf is a really good actor. Have you guys ever seen Peanut Butter Falcon?
No.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's a fantastic film.
You know what Shia LaBeouf
You ever
is in,
seen-
don't you?
Nymphomaniac.
What?
You know what Shia LaBeouf is in?
Transformers.
Nope.
So
Transformers.
he's in X-Files.
He's in X-Files, that's right. This scene reminds me of Back to the Future. Just the whole diner shape and all that. It's almost...
Yeah.
I'm surprised, like, I mean, if they went a bit more forward, I'm surprised, like, they might have tried a little cameo crossover, like, something like that, but... Because Spielberg's always up for... Spielberg's one of the, like, cheeky little cameos, like, going all the way back to him in Gremlins or in Piers and Paul. He's always up for, like, nods to head to other universes, isn't he?
Oh yeah. I
Super
mean,
powers.
in the first one with like Star Wars and stuff like that, there's always going to be some sort of little hidden gem in there somewhere.
Obviously, that guy's got a Marshall bomber chatting on. Fiji, and obviously Frank Marshall.
Yeah,
Producer.
To be
Actually,
fair,
they dropped the trailer.
you can understand, sorry, why this film did so well. If you look, for May, the only decent film that was released in May 2008 was Iron Man, the first one.
even then, that wasn't like... You know, it's the first of the Marvel wave, isn't it? And Hulk hadn't exactly done well before that.
Yeah.
That was it. You had
Well, Iron Man actually saved Marvel.
Iron Man's
Actually
amazing.
saved Marvel Studios.
Aye.
They were going to go bust without Iron Man.
oh, I lie. Sex and the City was released.
Talk about. Oh well. Well, that's one of the things I love about Iron Man is that, like, literally, that's like how good of a project that actually was. Because people will tell you it's a great film, and it is, but like the ins and outs of it was just mental. Like, you know, they literally had a choice: spend the money on the suit, or spend the money on writing more of the script, and they chose the suit. So literally every other shot was just kind of, they were just pretty much going every other day with whatever they felt worked. Bad romance.
Now, this film is like a bit all over the place. It's so hard to follow, isn't it?
Well,
So
yeah.
you've got the Russians trying to find the city with the aliens, but they don't know it's aliens yet. And then you've got a crystal skull, which is an alien head, but no one knows what if it's an alien head, so it's very confusing. Then you've got Mutt, the guy who's looking after Mutt, who's disappeared, which is John Hurt, I think. That's so confusing.
Well, that's it. It's the whole. It's his son. It's not his son. They don't know it's his son. Then bringing back the original actress, and
It's like too many different threads for a story.
But the dynasty doesn't feel like Indiana Jones.
no, it feels like
It's all about the timeline. If you gotta go with it, because that's what the timeline's on.
this guy here, Jack. He is totally overacting. Him is an extra. He's all over it.
He's loving it.
He's doing his best Jim Carrey facial expressions to react. It's the guy sitting on the table opposite him with his back to the window. He's just totally like going for it, like. Whereas you've got this guy who almost looks at fucking sleep. That's what the best thing about podcasts is looking at extras.
My boss was an extra in The Foreigner with Jackie Chan.
Was he?
Yes, I.
How you get paid for it? Dun dun dun. He comes. They're fucking tall people. Then, like, fuck me.
The Russians, why not? Obviously, June 1950s was about the Cold War now, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, well, that's the thing about the film. It's just like, it's honouring the timeline, but it just doesn't feel like an Indiana Jones film.
Speaking of Russians,
It's
can you remember that final Rocky film?
thing where like all the jocks are on one side and then all the leather jackets are on one side, like instantly. It's a little bit like.
Oh, I love a good old-fashioned brawl.
Well, it's the grease in it. He just fucking completely bottles somebody. That's fucking violent as fuck. But again, this totally looks like, again, on the corner, the set location, it looks like it could be Back to the Future set. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks like it could be that.
If you were in a rush to get away from someone, why would you put some gloves on?
Harrison Ford looks like he was fucking holding on for his fucking life there.
It's like a big market, isn't it, the fights? Those were the days.
Paul Ray used to get the bus home and just get involved in the fights, wouldn't you, Paul Ray?
Social distance fights now, man. Six people having a fight at a time.
Nah, you just do rock, paper, scissors. That's it. That's all you can do now. I'm
How
gonna
do you get stunned that like with the motorbike?
Well, that wig looks like it's about to blow off.
For Harrison Ford. Or the stunt guy. Oh yeah, whatever. This is what I'm like on my bike.
What, just going anywhere you want?
Pedaling around, yeah, out of breath.
There's now worse when a cyclist like tries to race you when you're trying to overtake them. And it's just like, why burn out your energy? Or then when you see them going up a hill and they're in the middle of the road, and like, wait, England's not made for cycling, especially around here.
Why were the fittest people ever?
What?
Cyclists.
But the roads aren't made for safe cycling. They're fucking not.
Well, half the time you've got a path, but then you get horrible looks getting up on the road. You go on the road and you get run over by cars. You got cycle lanes, but then people start walking in the cycle lanes. You kind of win, man.
That extra there, like getting out of the car. Right, he's going to drive past you, whack him in the face with the signs. It's like, come on, smack.
Goddamn commies.
Now, here again, he's Marcus again. His head comes flying off and through the car. That's the third Marcus cameo.
And then it's a Harrison Ford look here. It's like he looks at Mutt so funny, and Mutt's laughing, and just gives him such a hacky look. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, just dear friend.
Well, Harrison Ford does what right. Just look what he did for the new Blade Runner. I fucking love that film, the new one.
Still never seen it yet.
Oh, it's visually stunning, but it's a
I'm
great
watching
like.
2049. 10 to 9, I mean. Now this kid here is so weird, isn't it? Like, going to the table, but they go for miles and miles and miles, skidding along.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing's been a bit of a sketch show, like.
Yeah, that was
Can
a
I just
bit
ask a question, Dr.
far-fetched.
Jones?
Well, again, it's using the Sean Connery character in Harrison Ford from the last time. That obviously worked, and they're trying to repay that now with Harrison Ford in the Sean Connery version.
I know, but at the same time, like, in some ways, like, it works because it's Sean Connery, so, you know, for whatever it is that he does, people are going to want to enjoy it because it's who it is. And then it's Indiana Jones, whereas in this particular film, it's Indiana Jones and a character you don't know. So, like, the thing that works with Indiana Jones and his dad is the fact that they are father and son, and that they do have that tension, that they don't like each other, whereas these two do not know each other, so they'll be having that kind of, like, comedy-esque. It didn't work.
Can you guys check on IMDb? You know the bad guy from the first Indiana Jones? The man in white. Is he in Hot Fuzz as the priest?
You broke up when you said it there. Who are you on about?
You know the guy who's the bad guy in the first one?
There's a lot of bad guys in the first one.
The man in white.
Belloc.
Is he in Hot
right.
Fuzz as the priest?
I'll have a look at the years I've met.
I'll just have a
I
look.
think it is.
'Cause I was
Really,
watching.
I do believe it is. Now that
I was watching Hot Fuzz the other night. And I'm sure that he was in fucking Indiana Jones. Peru. Are we going to get the montage? Oh, we are. I remember Quackshot used to have this kind of montage. Ever play Quackshot in the Mega Drive?
Was he the priest?
Yep.
No.
No.
Of course you would take your bike with you. Ellen! Ellen!
Is it in Peru where they eat the guinea pigs?
Oh, I don't know.
I know what you. I've seen that.
Surely, and they keep guinea pigs under the bed, so because the heat warms the room up.
I know what you would do with a guinea pig, Paul Ray.
I would love it. Feed it and water it. Take it for walks in a leader.
You can love it, just don't love it. Is there any hidden extras or anybody in this, like Dan Aykroyd or hidden in there or something?
No, there was John Rhys Davies was approached to reprise his role at the wedding, but he declined last minute. He said it didn't really feel right for the character, and he just felt it would be a little bit of a sore thumb in the crowd if he didn't like have a scene or if there was no like real reason for being there.
Well, like Lieutenant Harris in Police Academy 2, when he's like cut out the wedding scene, you think, well, why did you do that for? Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You just whacked the camera. Well, sorry about that. Jack doesn't know his distance from the camera. Whack.
Oh, you know, like your first time or something.
Smurf.
So yeah, I can confirm Paul Freeman is Reverend Bill Shooter in Hot Fuzz.
So,
Shockingly enough, yes, I've met him. I've got his autograph. I totally did not connect that at the time.
See, the worst thing about this,
See
right,
that?
how come Harrison Ford's been able to kind of get some kit to kind of go on his adventure, but Shia LaBeouf's just kind of dressed in the exact same leather jacket that he was when he was in America?
They were in,
Because he's a greaser, man.
We've seen kids in the fashion, innit?
He's a T-bird. He's a T-bird?
Yeah.
I don't know if this one has enough mystery for me, to be honest with you. That's why I think I like Temple of Doom and Raiders. I don't think this has enough.
Temple of Doom by far the best one.
It is the best one.
Oh, it's not the best one though.
Ooh, who said that? Carl.
Carl.
Shut that dirty whore's mouth of
Shut up,
yours.
Carl.
Rocky Balboa is the best one.
Shut your mouth.
Jack, as it stands, I rate Raiders 7 out of 10,
Uh-huh.
Temple of Doom 6 out of 10, and Last Crusade is 7 out of 10.
Well, to be fair, everyone's entitled to their opinion, Carl. Yours is the wrong opinion, but...
Hey, Carl, after this we're going to film Alternative 4 and I think Jack's definitely getting your list.
Shit.
Don't worry, Paul, I'll have yours. That's a Goonies thing, that.
It'll make some
Punisher
edits by the
skin.
end of this podcast, I think.
John Hurt worked well,
The
like.
carved in the wall.
Why is he-
That could have been a nice little hint or something.
Why is he getting so upset for?
Is John Hurt meant to be his stepdad?
Oh,
I think he raised him or something like that, didn't he?
yeah. And he went crazy.
Kind of looked after him. Yeah.
He went crazy making things on a wall.
I tell you what is a good film though, In Diana and the Temple of Poon. That is mint.
Is that a porn?
Which
Yeah.
one?
You
But
fucking dickhead.
It's not low budget, it's not a proper porn, it's kind of like
I know what your porn's like because you give me that job lot and I got porn out of it.
No, that's porn that I give you.
Mason, you can
I
talk
gave
some-
Stephen a load of
some stuff you said, mate.
I gave Stephen a load of DVDs when I broke up with my ex-wife. And I forgot that I'd left 3 porn movies in there.
Fucking Brit's face off camera. She was like, "Does he lose some air in
I'll
him?"
watch you later.
Oh no, porn.
We'll watch these and rate them.
That's the next podcast.
Lonely Tree After Dark.
Like Baywatch Nights.
Oh my god.
You can't really judge a film on the 60 seconds of it.
60, bloody hell.
I'm a pro, I like to class myself as a pro. Just to be clear, that was for a 30-second tea break as well.
Alright,
Fair enough.
put the candles on there.
Oh, candles, everything.
Oh, see, that's total CGI model. That.
Yeah.
If you watch a making of it, like you said,
This bit,
95% of it
something
is.
happens in this bit. There's some crazy kind of beastie things in this. I'm sure there is.
There is some weird.
There's like
people
crazy
on it,
monkey
like,
things, isn't
dressed
there?
up weird. The dress weird.
See, this kind of reminds me of Hellboy again.
Yeah.
I still say this now though. After I watch this, the best sequence in the Indiana Jones complete series is the minecart chase.
Nah, there's
Yeah, that's the one where
Same
that should have been
code,
like, that should have been a roller coaster, didn't it?
This just looks like they used the set from King Kong. What the fuck?
It looks like that thing out of with the Omen.
Oh, what's that creepy thing called?
That'll be me falling down the ladders.
See, fair enough. Harrison Ford's still taking some bumps, like.
It was a
He's
terrible
never
fight
shied
scene.
away from it, like, he's always been, like, somewhat involved, but, what is it?
But I said in Raiders and stuff, he did his own stunts in Temple of Doom and that.
Would you bollocks go anywhere
Oh.
near that? Yeah, you'd stay away from any kind of dark tunnel.
They're not creepy enough.
Nah, they're not as creepy as what I thought they
You know
were.
what it does? I remember watching this and I legitimately thought, like the first time you see them, I thought, they're fucking big monkeys, them, like. And then obviously when they started, like, fighting, I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. It wasn't until he hit them in the face, I was like, ah, shit. So they are people.
That's an awesome scene, though, isn't it? The bit where he blows the dart back into his mouth. Are you a teacher? That time, kid. I love that. That was from the trailer.
So Shia LaBeouf at the time as well, obviously, he was in Wall Street 2, which I think is far better than the original. But he was just seemed to be like getting promo for everything. He did some stuff like Eagle Eye and Disturbia.
I like Eagle Eye.
Where Disturbia was almost a remake of The
I vaguely
Birds.
remember Eagle Eye, and I don't remember hating it.
No, that was on not so long ago actually. And
iRobot?
Disturbia was class as well.
iRobot.
Was he in that?
He's his mate.
Aye. He's a young one, isn't he, with Will Smith? Transformers, who's very good in the first one.
But he was doing well, and I mean, don't get us wrong, he still does well. But it's kind of like
What has he done recently?
he's done loads. He's done loads of independent stuff. What was the last one? Honey. Paul, what's it called, man? Honey Summit. It's a film based on his life.
Which one you're on about, man? He played himself, or he played his dad?
I think the story's written on his childhood. Honey Summit.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look at it now. I don't know which one you're on about.
It's in that. He was in that peanut
But
butter
it
film.
got such a massive raving ratings about it.
See, even the CGI.
I mean, he's just been stung by a scorpion. Something's got to go down.
It's alright, it wasn't a big one. It's a big one to kill you, apparently.
But what was that? What the fuck? Elastic band in my face. What was that one? He was like he's been in like the tax collector, and then didn't man
That
down.
got massively, that got massively, the tax collector was massively failed. Because he actually, he got, again, it's his attitude, I think he just takes things too far. He got, proper massive body tattoos for that film, legitimately. Just because the character had tattoos, and it's just like, no, don't do that shit.
I'm sure Man Down was one of the biggest flops.
Oh, yeah, the one that went to the pictures and only one person went to see it.
Aye, that was it.
In a day.
Aye.
So
It was Mason who bought the tickets.
Look, he's got nothing for 2021, but he did a short film called Love Me Like You Hate Me. There was a film called Piece of a Woman, Tax Collector, Peanut Butter Falcon, Honey Boy.
Honey Boy, that's it. Aye.
He's active. I mean, see, active. He did nothing in 2018. He's just a bit all over the joint. Did loads in 2013 as part of small indie films and stuff like that. But
What happens when you wear...
Guys?
Hello. Are you there?
Oh, yeah.
I got a shock there. I was concentrating. It was just so quiet.
I just said Lawless was a good one and everyone went quiet, I think.
No, Lawless is a good film.
Lawless is a really good film. Again, that was when Tom Hardy was kind of doing loads of stuff as well.
But he's doing too much.
Again, yeah.
I'll still say this. Mel Gibson should still have been Mad Max in Fury Road.
Yeah.
100%.
I didn't like seeing that. I didn't like Tom Hardy in that. I didn't like that film, full stop, to be honest.
Oh, it's visually stunning though.
Nah, I just didn't like it. I thought it was...
It's a good looking film, but other than that, the story is very, very weak, and it's such a poor thing. It does annoy me, but it does kind of miss me a little bit when people say how much of an instant classic it is. It's like, no, it's not. It's a great looking film by far, but I mean, how do you make such a visually good film and then go, here's a black and white version for this?
Oh, Chrome Edition. I've got that.
Oh yeah, I got it because I'm an idiot, but still.
Well, it just comes with a steelbook.
I think the last Shia LaBeouf film I watched was Borg versus McEnroe.
Oh, the tennis film.
I think that was the last film I ever seen him in.
Was that any good, that? That was something that should have been on my radar, but I didn't get it.
It was alright, it was worth a watch. I wouldn't say it was go to the pictures to see it, but it was definitely worth a watch.
But that came out on that weird Paul, that label, you know the what I'm on about, when the spines, the writing's the wrong way around, and they're normally dead slim, and they've all got like a turquoise and black. Normally does a lot of the foreign films.
No, not top of my head, mate.
It came on that label. It's not Tarzan's label, but it came out on a weird label. Got loads of that in it work. But I've heard a lot of people.
Not Eureka or anything.
No, it's not Eureka. But again, like a lot of people have talked about the peanut butter film. Like, I will have to check that out.
Mate, I'm not joking. I'm not really a big fan of LaBeouf, but a really, really good film, mate. It's so underrated.
What's it about?
And it's technically a wrestling film, so you'll enjoy it.
Have you seen Changeland with Seth Green made? He basically, Seth Green's good friends with Macaulay Culkin and Randy Orton, wrestler. And he made this film in Thailand, and it's about like he breaks up with his wife and he takes his best mate who hasn't seen for years, who's actually Jay, I forget his second name, but he's in Rat Race with him. And they go around Thailand, and like Macaulay Culkin's off his fucking tits, and it's just beautifully stunning. But it's about refining yourself and finding your kinship. But it was only on Sky Movies. But like, I'm absolutely over the moon that Uncle Peckerhead's getting a release on Blu-ray.
Oh, you didn't tell us you're on the front cover, mate.
I am. Well, it's a mid film.
A film that got mentioned yesterday on a video I was watching, and I never got around to watching it. I don't think you did. An American Pickle. Seth Rogen.
Oh,
It's where he basically
Falls in a jar of pickles, doesn't he?
He kind of, I don't know how you word it. He's like basically
Preserved, aye.
And then so it's him acting against himself because he's looking for his great grandfather or something like that. And it's just something I remember looking at, thinking, that looks like it could be quite quirky, and I never got around to watching it.
It just came out over. It didn't get a Blu-ray release though.
Was it almost like Amazon ones?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
He's just on the front cover, is it? So here we go. Back to the film. We've got a fucking alien skull.
We don't know that yet.
Well,
because a lot of people used to put bands on their head and let their skulls grow during the 18th century in Africa, didn't they?
fucking hell, Paul Ray. Welcome down. Check you up, Mr. Knowledgeable. Jesus Christ, Carl's going to start kicking off in a minute about you stealing his history.
They're coming in with your history and all that.
So how do you explain the eyes, Paul?
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm not just all good looks, you know.
I'm just kidding. I know you read books.
No, I'm just not all good looks. I just watch a lot of documentaries about rubbish.
Were you watching? What was that book that you were watching? You were like Dr. Phil. The bloke twerking.
I love Dr.
What was because you had that guy? What was he got up and he started grinding? It was fucking weird, Paul. Stop saying shit like that.
He was. I've been watching a lot of Dr. Phil the past 2 days. I've just been stuck in bed. I could not be bothered with anything, and Dr. Phil was on. I've just been watching it for days. It's awesome. He was basically just trying to be an he was trying to be an Instagram star, so he was just twerking all the time. Every 5 minutes he was twerking, and he's just spending other people's money. It's something I'm going to start doing soon.
What's selling your soul?
Get me TikToks up and my Instagram up. Start twerking all the time.
Nah, just go all the way, mate. Just do OnlyFans. You'll be great.
Oh, good, yeah.
This film stalled again, hasn't it? Really. I don't exactly find any kind of treasure hunting or anything to get there. I don't think it was. They found it quite easy.
Skull in the hand?
Honestly, I'm just not interested. That's the thing with this film. It doesn't have me interested. He stood there with an alien skull in his hand, which is very, very prop. You know, it looks very silly. Didn't look like something that is ancient. But I don't know, the other ones you always you were eager for them to find the clues and you were eager to get where you wanted to get to. This is very, I wouldn't say it's stalled, but I think it's very choppy.
It looks like Ray Winston's been on holiday at Whitney Bay.
I got myself into a stinker the other night after I think we had just finished Last Crusade, and I went to watch the film Yeti I posted the picture of. Fuck me, honestly. It is so bad. there's a bit where it's filming and the two people who are talking, right, their heads are cut off at the bottom of the frame because the camera guy's just like moving. I was like, who's fucking talking? And it was like one of the people, and like, when the beast turned up, you could see his gloves, and it's all during the daylight. I was like, what am I fucking watching? Like,
what do you expect? You bought it from Morrison's?
I know, but like, I'm a sucker for a Bigfoot Yeti movie, like.
I think we're ready for a good one, though. I think like it's one thing that like. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bigfoot and the Hendersons or Harry and the Hendersons.
No, there is one. There's one exists, and it's actually called Exists. It's the director of Blair Witch Project. It's done as like a found footage film.
What's that?
It's fucking brilliant. But it's like one of the characters in it's like all in the GoPros and all that. That's why it's captured in so many different angles. But if that was chasing you, would fucking run like.
Just watch Finding Bigfoot, season 564, episode 2,000,001, and they still haven't found him. I say that, but I actually do enjoy watching it. Feel like if I miss an episode to go find, they'll find him.
You know, obviously, we all like dog soldiers. What I would love, right, is I would love to have that kind of style film. So a little bit indie, like very British, but in this case Scottish, but have a really good Loch Ness story.
Ooh.
I would honestly, they could do a good found
like
footage.
Lake Placid.
Lake Placid's fucking terrible.
Really? For the time,
Watch it back. It's fucking terrible.
That. You watch Child's Play and that's shit now.
It's not though.
Yes, it is. You watch Child's Play when you was. You watched Child's Play when you were younger. You watched Child's Play when you were younger, and it was a good film. But when you watch it back, you're like, this isn't scary at all.
Me and Jack watched. When did we watch Shark Attack 3 years ago on repeat because the special effects were that bad? When it was just like it was just like fake shadows in the water, and then they were just downsized, and people weren't there going into the mouths and stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Was it as good as that?
What's that?
Was the effects as good as that one we watched on YouTube, the vampire one?
Oh no, they were worse than that. I actually met two of the actors in the film, and they said that they were told that it was going to look super, super good, and they both shook their heads at it. I was just like, because I did I message you going, oh dude, there's like one of the guys from Shark Attack 3 here, and then I realised there's two of them, because it's just obviously made in Bulgaria.
It was a terrible film.
I've still got it. I've got all three of them. So.
This is explaining a bit about Stalin now, isn't it? About psychic powers and stuff. So instead of Hitler, you've got Russians trying to use that against the Cold War now.
I mean, it's quite weird and funny, like, but it would have been weirder if it was E.T., wouldn't it? They just went, alright, let's use the E.T. That's the race.
There is a canny little clip I saw. They're talking about Harrison Ford bumped into Kate Blanchett on the set, and he was like talking to her, had no idea who she was. He'd only ever seen her as we see her in the film with her. He didn't know she had like blonde hair and that. He just assumed that was her hair.
She's done well for us because she went on to play the bad guy in Thor Ragnarok, didn't she?
She was awesome in that. Yeah, I just had a bit of an argument with someone the other day about that. Who was it? Was that Matt? On the movie group, he was like saying how she was like terrible and far-fetched and that, and I was like, who knows them?
John Hurt, he's done fucking loads. Like, have you seen a film called Outlander?
I've heard of it, I don't think I've watched it.
When there's an alien, there's a spaceman and an alien land in a Viking village. It's fucking class. He's the head of the village.
The best film about John Hurt was that film that he made with Alien. What film was it called again?
Alien.
No, Spaceballs. He goes, oh no, not again. When it comes out, Mrs. Dodds, hello, my baby.
Isn't it great how they just had a perfect stand for that skull?
Perfect stand, cameras rolling, and then both of them have just stood in your shot. You'd be like, I've got to fucking move now.
Like said, the DVD that came out when the film came out came with a little Christmas skull stand. They get a little packaging. I remember I used to have one.
Again, though, like nothing's really happened for ages now.
Nah, it's a lot of talk and a lot of like jibber jabber, one might say.
It's about mind reading now, man. Power of the mind.
I can guarantee you everyone can think what I'm thinking.
Oh.
This film's shit.
Well, again, I was saying, Big Dave. I messaged Big Dave. I says, we'll be doing Indiana Jones 4 over the weekend. He said, do you want to join us because you've been on the other three? And he went, nah. Just keep that. And then you just turned up 5 minutes before.
That film doesn't exist.
I guarantee you, if you had messaged me earlier and went, are you coming over? We're doing Indiana 4, and you probably went, nah.
I'll come just to ride my fist through your computer screen and then leave.
Because I was going to suggest Alien versus Predator down the line, but we're doing actually the Jaws next. Doing the 4 Jawses.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll come to the first 3. and then you'll get a present fuck you for the 4th.
To be honest with you, I think the 3rd one's worse than the 4th one.
We could just like do the first 3 and then for the 4th one start it and just say don't watch this movie and then that'd be it. A 10-second podcast. Is everyone ready to press play? Don't bother, this film's gash.
I made these guys watch. Was it when we were doing the Police Academy series, and we were doing in lockdown 1? We were doing 2 podcasts back to back, and we watched them damn sea vampires, and them 2 were like, "What the fuck are we watching?" But I enjoyed that though because it was kind of like, because you guys didn't know what you were about to see.
Yeah, still better than Predators.
The Predator.
The Predator.
The Predator.
Damn film. They were the biggest disappointments ever.
What?
Predators.
Predators is good.
Yeah. The Predator.
The Predator
was gash.
Oh, The Predator was gash.
We've got a new podcast going around that soon, haven't we?
I'm going to start one. What's it called, Paul? Before I step on your dick and you kick off.
I don't know, what was it called?
The fact that you've done it again because it was my idea.
Paul's idea.
Fuck's sake, Jack, honestly, mate, if you got any good ideas, just keep it yourself. You know, just give Paul the credit.
You're just stealing your thunder, mate.
Honestly, I don't even know what thunder is.
Wait, because
podcast.
these 2, have you seen Coming to America 2 yet?
No, I don't want to. I've heard it's shit.
It's fucking brilliant. These 2
Don't
fucking...
waste your time, Jack. Honestly, it's shit.
They might as well be my scrotum sack and I'll be the penis, man. Honestly, God.
I was literally going to watch it and then remember John Kennedy?
Huh?
He put on saying, I was really excited to watch it and it was absolutely garbage.
Sure, man.
Yeah, and I was like, bastard, not watching that then.
Should have said, shut up, John Howe, and went...
But it's still just mate. You've saved us 2 hours of my life.
It's really good.
So what's this podcast name, Carl?
Is it really this bad, or
Was it really that
really
bad?
that bad?
No, it should be...
Yeah,
is it really that bad? No, it's good, question mark, because obviously I think it's good.
Alright, I thought you were just going to get a load of my people who have had sex with.
Wow.
Was it really that bad?
That'd be a short series
Yes.
for me. Well, no, because obviously there are some great films out there, but obviously one of the best thing about films is that they are so like diverse. You know, you don't like Rocky Balboa, I would put that second in the series as best. But the brilliance of films is that you see something I don't, and clearly Mason sees something in Coming to America that me and Paul didn't. And I love that kind of discussion.
I've got the Coming to America I've got the Coming to America poster in the fucking toilet, like the original. It's original. I open it up every morning, and wash myself, and I always go, the royal penis is clean.
Yeah, and that, you know what it is? That was funny in the 80s, but when they try to recreate the same joke, but on a PG level.
I know why you're angry. It's because she said your royal private parts when she should have said your royal vagina is clean, innit? That's what you're wrong about. You and your vaginas.
But the thing is, though, that's what they should have said, because that's what the joke is. You try and put like Eddie Murphy's stage show, right? Go on, like what was it, Raw or
Delirious.
something like that. Do that show, Delirious. That was the best one, right? Do that show, but then say, Eddie, by the way, you can't swear, or you can only say this swear word. How shit would it be? It's because you're trying to recreate something that's not there. You know, the 80s was something of a unique time frame where you could basically artistically do whatever film you wanted, and either people didn't like it or people did. Now it's like, you can't do that.
It is odd that Eddie Murphy's never done a stand-up since.
Well, apparently, to be honest with you, he was talking about coming back to it, and then on one of the anniversaries to SNL, he was scheduled to do a bit, but then I don't know if it was planned or whether he changed it, but he just went with a monologue. He just chatted a bit, and that was it. And I remember like loads of like backlash on the internet saying like Eddie Murphy got like 10 minutes to do whatever he wanted, and he didn't do any jokes. He just stood and talked about stuff. He's a weird bloke now. Like I think he's either too scared because he doesn't want to offend people anymore.
That's the exactly. That's the thing. All these good comedians, like they won't get away with half of the shit now because someone's going to complain about it.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Again, this film stalled quite along, hasn't it? We've had the introduction of
Come to America.
Karen Allen's back. She looks better than she does in the first one. She's aged well. I don't think she was very attractive in the first movie. What?
You need your glasses tested, like.
I don't know, like if I scored out of 1 out of 10, I'd give her 1. Way.
I mean, I'm not kicking her out of bed, like.
Should be kicking you out.
Oh, you've got. Oh, definitely, probably. But that's not the question.
Whoa, check out.
You sit there pretending that you don't like her. I'll tell you what.
How weird's that? I got excited over that small bit of violence there. About time something happened.
So, Indiana Jones discovered that Mud
Mutt.
Karen Allen's his son from before. And obviously John Hurt knows the location of the Crystal Skull Temple.
Oh, and there's a quicksand joke coming here.
With a fake snake.
With a fake snake. Quicksand always freaks me out, like ever since I think Neverending Story was pretty bad. And also Tarzan, I remember the Tarzan with is it Jason Scott Lee in it? This is a pretty bad quicksand death in that.
I always like that meme that pops up every now and again when like people say, remember as a kid when you thought quicksand was going to be a much bigger issue in life.
That would be a horrible way to die, like, because it wouldn't be drowning, you'd just be like sucking in sand. Ugh.
But even then, when they're in that shot, she doesn't look like she's behind him really in that shot.
Perspective, isn't it?
Did he use a snake to help her get out?
Think so, and it just held back for him.
Because it looked like a stick. And I thought, did he literally just drop a stick to then deliberately get a snake?
I'm not a bit yet.
I'm on the indie side here, like, stop fucking whacking a snake in my face.
That's what she said.
You know, there's like fucking trees everywhere, go and find a branch.
Henry Jones III, that's what he's called. What's called Henry Jones III. He just discovered he's got a son.
It's slimy, what you said.
I mean, he just chucked the fucking...
Oh, that was awful. Did you see that?
What?
He was literally in a sack. When he was being pulled out, he had a sack around his legs.
Oh, we haven't got there, he's still getting pulled out. You've jumped ahead again.
Oh, watch when he gets pulled out, just look at his legs. He's literally in like a Hessian sack or something. But then instantly he's not.
Poor snake.
And
I think that's so bad, that snake. Jesus Christ.
And he just hoys it away. It's like...
It's like from a bloody fancy dress shop. As some proper mason would have. to do Indiana Jones video.
Huh? This is definitely the worst of the 4 films, and it's about to get worse because, like, you think you're about to get saved with a fucking big action scene, and it's just horrible CGI. I mean, look at the CGI and the lights on there and stuff. It's like, oh, come on.
The forest thing, the tree thing, yeah, it's terrible. That.
It just doesn't. It's just not the right timing.
The technology's, the technology.
Have that kind of vehicle.
Yeah. It's like having digital technology in the 50s.
Yeah.
An axe.
It's steampunk.
Right?
Yeah. Just have a lumberjack running ahead.
Hang on, I can chop this tree down. You'll be there for fucking ages.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like, it is one of the things that people complain about with Shia LaBeouf, but he's not doing a good job. He's just whiny. It's like, I don't know, like, how old is he supposed to be in this film?
I mean, he's definitely in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a lot of long silences in this movie, like, there's just not a lot.
Well, everyone's fucking wondering what to fucking talk about. It's kind of like...
I think we're trying to like dissect the scenes because of how bad they are, but like everyone's doing the same thing.
It's just like... How long's this film on for? 2 hours? It should be an hour and a half max.
Yeah.
Will this be on your podcast, Carl?
Is it really that bad? No, because is it really that bad? Yeah, well, no, it wouldn't make it because I don't know anyone who would argue. I would need to have at least a counter argument, otherwise it's pointless. So I don't know anyone who watched this film and said it's great.
The first half I love, like I said, and the second half.
I'm just shocked it's a Spielberg film. If this was not directed by Spielberg, you can probably go, oh, right, it was just passed off to a new director. But because Spielberg's got his fingers in it...
I mean, do we know, like, did he do a lot of work? Was it just by name? Glad he got his name on it?
No, he directed it.
It didn't feel like a Spielberg film at all.
No.
But to be honest, like, Spielberg really hasn't did much like blockbusters for quite a while, has he?
He's been more...
That, but he also never did sequels, so I wonder, I mean, this could be the reason why, but then could it be that his heart's not in it because maybe he's pressurised into doing this film, like you say, maybe he didn't want to do something like this?
There you go, and start throwing people out of the fan again.
Well, that's a classic, you know, you've got to have at least 1 or 2 people thrown out of a movie vehicle.
Honestly, that edge enhancement is so bad. That digital edge enhancement, it's so bad. You know, the black lines, you know, your widescreen, and it goes all like enhancement.
Oh, he's got his bazooka again.
Well, that fucking big wheel's a bit shit, like.
Well, it's fucking terrible.
Smashing through the vehicle with the fire.
Again, like the whole, like, again, they're just getting rocked around on a green screen. That's all they're getting done.
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna say this does feel like the least real of all the films that we've watched.
I've just got to look off
We know that
Jack.
obviously in some of them, like Temple of Doom, there's a load of set pieces on that, but you still bought into it. You still got it.
Super 8 was produced by Steven Spielberg.
Oh yeah, I wasn't saying it wasn't anything to do with Steven Spielberg.
I was just made to feel like that. I felt a little bit uncomfortable.
This entire sequence gets really bad, especially when they start sword fighting and...
The monkeys.
A sword fight's about to happen, I think. Now they're in a fucking little boat car.
Yeah.
I think the idea of boat cars is mint. Do you know what I mean?
Boat cars. What's not to love about them?
I like that line. That's like, it's very realistic for what we've seen Shia LaBeouf do so far. Like with Indiana Jones saying, stop being childish and find somebody to fight. Because that's all the Indiana Jones series was. It was just kind of like...
That is disgusting.
No plan, and it was just people fighting each other.
What?
That green screen behind that car when they
It's
were...
fucking horrible. This entire thing's all green screen.
If you remember, it's Lucasfilm, yeah? So obviously there'll be a lot of in-house special effects, so to keep the cost down.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy wouldn't have been knocked out. He was turned and chucked over.
I think Kate Blanchett's a bad move for this film. I think she's a fantastic actress, but she's not selling it for me. That's what I've been kind of trying to struggle with for the last... Like, she could be
Mind
a
you,
henchman, but she's not leading the villain as she...
If you were an actor and got like a casting call for Indiana Jones, a new film, after 20 odd years, you'd definitely go for it, wouldn't you?
I don't judge it for going in for the film. But
then you realise...
Oh.
They're buying into the idea that they're going to be in an Indiana Jones film.
So
Didn't realise it was going to be this one.
So when's this new one due to come out? 2022?
I think so. Wasn't it supposed to be 21 originally, but then got bumped to 2002?
Spielberg's not doing it, though, is he?
2022. James
It's going to be like 2024 before we get a chance. See, Mangold,
James
I don't mind.
Oh, this is
He's
terrible.
directing it.
The sword fighting.
He's got a few hits and misses.
Because you can drive through a just cut jungle on a nice... on the top of a bonnet.
She's not even looking where
Yeah,
she's
she was-
going. Oh, it's fucking horrible, this.
Oh, I say the sword fighting is just uncomfortable.
Nah. This is where I'm like, right, I'm off to the toilet to get some popcorn. Like, fucking hell.
Hold on, why you got to toilet for popcorn?
Popcorn for?
I'm just on about going to the pictures, man.
Ah, okay.
That is horrendous.
I mean, even Hook looked better than that.
Rufy, oh.
She's not even looking where she's going.
That is disgusting. That is awful. For a film that cost 185 million, yuck.
Apparently Brad Pitt might be in it. A little question mark under his name on IMDb.
What do you mean Brad Pitt could be in it? Oh, right, the new one.
Entitled Indiana Jones Project, cast Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, Brad Pitt, question mark.
The Rocky is a Rambo
Don't
movie.
ruin with them.
I enjoyed
He talks properly.
the Tomb Raider remake. That was quite a good treasure hunting film.
Well, the new
I
movie.
hated it. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, I didn't hate it, but I didn't buy it at all because the problem is, she's like,
He just sexist
an
pigs.
they're doing an interesting take on her being Lara Croft. She's not doing anything. We haven't got the Tomb Raider that we all know from the game. But the problem is, right, and I remember the scene vividly, where like she's fighting with this bloke. She obviously has no idea what she's doing. She's kind of like rich British, like kind of skill set. So, you know, yes, she's done archery and what do you call it? I'm trying to think of sword fighting. What's the sword fighting? Jared?
Fencing.
Fencing.
Fencing, that's it. So she has got some skill to hold her way.
That is just disgusting.
She shoots one bloke in kind of an accidental way, and literally the next scene she's fucking wiping people out with a gun, no bother. You know, like the scene's really heavily based on. She's just, oh my god, what did I just do? I think I've just killed someone. The next scene she's like fucking shooting them.
At least that monkey's real.
That's
That's one real monkey.
that monkey's been in more stuff than Bart the Bear.
This is where the legend that is.
This is where we're like, what the fuck, man? I mean, this is the director of Jurassic Park.
Yep.
The director of Jaws. This cannot be the same director as Jaws. It's just fucking crazy.
But you know what it is? This is when the ultimate discussion comes from is that too much technology is always going to go wrong, because at the end of the day, Jaws, practical, Star Wars, originally practical, Jurassic Park, yes, they did do a lot of CGI, but that's probably the best example of how to use CGI, mixing it in with practical.
Oh yeah, enhancements.
And yeah, it's just like that's what CGI, in my opinion, is best used for, to enhance the situation rather than create the situation.
That's horrible.
It is. It's disgusting.
I mean, Uncharted.
Taking out the scenes.
Uncharted's going to come out a very similar time, isn't it?
Well, I know what's coming here. Oh, by the way, you've still got my Uncharted game.
You still have got my Uncharted game?
No, I have.
Uncharted 4?
It's going to be an exact reenactment of your WrestleMania video. I mean,
I wouldn't care, but I've got the first 3. I might want to replay it on the harder difficulties now, you know.
you certainly can have it back. I don't think I've even played it.
It's a great series, though. It's a shame that the film's going to live up.
A shame that monkey didn't fall down a cliff there, never mind.
Fucking hell, Paul,
It's a
yeah.
bit brutal, like.
And now here come the ants.
That's awful.
I mean, one of them
No,
should
it
have
is.
definitely died there.
Out of everything, though, right? Nowhere to lie, that is the thing that would freak me out the most. I fucking hate ants. I don't know what it is about them, but I think it's mostly because you don't get one ant. You get you don't ever get one ant. It's always like, you see one, there must be like a nest.
What about a digital car driving on top of the other car?
Fucking terrible.
Unbelievable.
This is how good, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is when you proper feel something for when Auntie dies, and then on here they're like, murder them! Fucking shit! You've got no, other, appeal for it, just murder them!
I remember years ago, I went home one time, this is before the other house I had, and there was flying ants in the house.
Flying ants?
Flying ants. Yeah. I had to get a hoover out and hoover them all up. It was like a Ghostbuster. It was awesome.
I was literally about to say, I could just see you being a Ghostbuster.
And fucking soundtrack on
Is
the
he
back.
the guy out of Saving Private Ryan? The Russian guy.
His face did look familiar. I couldn't say for sure, but...
I shall find out.
He'd be a perfect cast for Brian and Tekken. Him.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Her reaction to the cliff edge is fucking terrible.
Alright.
John Hurt just scaring the ants away with the skull now.
Yeah, it's just happening now.
Kind of reminds me of the book scene in The Mummy.
Yeah.
We should do that as a series, I reckon. I never saw the third one. I've heard it's bad, but I would definitely watch it for curiosity.
I loved the first two.
Yeah.
The third one's directed by Rob Cohen, you know.
Yeah, some Dragon
it
Priestess
had everything
story.
going for it, though. It had Jet Li and everything, but I feel like that's as close as they've ever come to a modern day Indiana Jones, though. I think Brendan Fraser, had it been the age he is now, like the age he was back then, he could have been a great Indiana Jones.
With his curtains.
It's just the cheese delivery,
That's
isn't
what
it?
curtains at least once in a life.
I love the first two Mummy films.
Yeah.
Oh, get picked up by your lug.
Look at the ants, man. Gonna get you anywhere like fucking zombies.
Was there any need for her to crush that ant and then the blood would end up on the camera?
Again, just over CGI.
Yeah, they were running up a leg, you never know. Could have went into a leg, a trouser leg.
That just added an extra 10 seconds to the film.
Quite a sinister look. That one's got blood coming out. Doesn't he gets carried off, doesn't he?
No, he gets in his dog. Go in his mouth, let's say, with the Mummy.
Oh yeah, he carried into the hole. Yeah.
Again,
Have
The
you seen
Shining.
Have you seen the Suicide Squad trailer?
Yeah.
The newest
I was
one.
gonna say I had literally no idea that it was Sylvester Stallone voicing the shark. Like,
We talked about that in the last podcast.
Yeah, it was me.
was it
Me,
you? I've watched a
trying
couple
to
of
get
videos. I'm
confused.
still not sold on it, but I feel like I might have. Yeah, I'm probably mixing up what you said with the video I watched.
With me movie news that I do these days.
Yeah, well,
I'm an insider.
still waiting for your YouTube channel to go live. Well,
The best of Dr. Phil by Paul Ray. It's gonna be good.
Anyone can make a YouTube channel, man.
so yeah.
Well, I got a Google account.
If you haven't got the internet, you can't.
No.
That's true, yeah.
Oh my god. Just the car landing in the fucking tree.
Yeah. It's like Jurassic Park, but like really bad.
I mean,
Luckily, it's not just a car.
It's a
car.
boat.
I think Shia LaBeouf got a good paycheck for this, mind.
Oh, definitely. Couple of million, maybe.
He didn't get much for Transformers because Michael Bay likes to make his own deals.
But he was also an unknown, no one. So.
Yeah. It's too light, isn't it? It's too. Oh no.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel right at all. It doesn't feel like an Indiana Jones film at all.
I mean, are they still in the boat? They're all still in the boat almost. Oh, no.
Yep.
I'll probably never watch this again after this podcast.
I don't think. I think we should just chuck it in the bin and pretend it didn't exist, just like the other three Rocky movies.
See, that's what annoys me about box sets. There may be only 3 films that you want. I mean, but you have to buy all 4 in the box set.
No.
I hear that
Yeah,
now.
there's only 4 Rocky movies.
Yeah, but there's another 4.
No, there's not.
No.
Yeah, there is.
There's not.
No.
There's Rocky 5, Rocky Balboa, Creed, and Creed 2.
Like I said, I've never heard of them. They don't exist.
They're fucking really good, the Creeds.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, I would be that person to say I don't really see Creed as a part of the Rockies.
How can you not say that? Sylvester Stallone
Creed 2,
is Rocky
yes.
Balboa.
Not it.
I would say Creed 2 is definitely like a direct sequel to Rocky 4, and that'll be it.
Nah, I just feel like the connected. Obviously, Creed 2 was massively connected. Obviously, the only thing that you had, it just didn't feel right in some ways in connection-wise. It felt like when they used Duke's son in Creed 1, it was like, why make him an asshole? You know what I mean? You're going to take one of the best characters of the series and make his son a dickhead. And give it to like a relevantly known character, so like people all know who he is.
Well, there you go. All I have to do is end up outside the waterfall. There's no mystery getting there. It's just like, there it is.
Take a guess how much Harrison Ford got paid for Crystal Skull.
20 million.
65.
Shut up. I
He
was
earned
just
65 million for Kingdom of Crystal Skull, and he was paid 5.9 million for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, you think how it was like 20 years difference?
He
The
got
thing
paid.
is, though, like that's it. They're gonna have to pay him because at the end of the day, they need another. They wanted an Indiana Jones film.
Yeah, true. If he said no, they'd have been pretty screwed.
You couldn't have him not in it.
Yeah.
65, man.
What did Shia LaBeouf get?
Quick look now.
I can't find anything
I've
after
been trying to look while
Jones.
I mentioned it. I've been trying to look at it, but I can't see the.
Aye, but Paul's on the dark side of the internet.
Yeah, you can see.
Paul will be in the back. Paul will be in the back door of 20th Century Fox right now. Man, going through the financial files.
Paul's always in the back
I
door.
would, but I would, but it's actually Paramount.
All right.
You just got me.
The only thing I've seen so
Now you know
far
how I feel.
is that
Welcome to my world.
The only thing I've seen so far is that Shia LaBeouf earned 750,000 for the first Transformers film. His paycheck got bumped to $5 million for the second installment, and then $15 million for the third. I didn't think it was in the third one.
Ah, aye. It's Megan Foster who's not the third one.
Oh yeah, it's that other hot chick,
I
isn't it? There's another chick in the third one.
Apparently he demanded 80 million, which was denied.
What, for this?
That's obviously why they killed him off. For the fourth Transformers film.
Ah, right.
And currently, as of March 2020, Shire paid $5.475 million for a gorgeous home in California.
You can't be doing that bad then.
It's not hurting, like.
Not bad, I'm coming from the 80% furlough pay. I can't find anything about Shia LaBeouf's pay in this.
It's interesting that, yeah, because I've got, like, literally, it's got a lot of like stuff. So, like, it's got 2006, he earned 400,000 for his role in Bobby. He earned 400,000 each for Disturbia and Surf's Up. In 2010, he earned 8 million for Wall Street.
I forgot about Surf's Up.
All of his films here, but it's got nothing on Indiana Jones.
I mean, they must have been waiting there a very long time.
Well, the last bloke worked 100, so you know.
700.
I do apologise. The last bloke, 700.
Remember Mason told us off.
Imagine being told, just stay where you are. Honestly, they're going to come any minute now.
I mean, that looks like a very, you know what I mean, a nice little ending set, like, but...
It looks like the Mayans temple from Guadalupe, doesn't it? Oh, New Mexico. The structure. I haven't got a clue what to say
have a
that.
picture of it.
No, I just pretended I know what I was on about.
On the other side of that is just the door, the titty twisters.
Fucking hell.
Just call me Sex Machine from now on.
That's all I've told you. It's interesting though, because that's one of the best, like, not the best part, because it's amazing film, but like, from Dusk Till Dawn, like, that was such a big reveal at the end, and for the amount of sequels it had, they haven't really touched on it, has it?
Why has Ray Winston got a lightsaber for? If you look at it, it looks like a lightsaber. Ray Winston, his torch looks like a lightsaber handle.
Well, that's what you did as a kid, isn't it? Couldn't afford to buy
And those,
a giant torch.
and those homing, you know, the beacons, you know, that you just picked up there.
Mm-hmm.
Always remind me of the radio from Austin Powers 2, where she has to see the fat bastard, and she sticks sticks it up his bum. The homing beacon. That's what it reminds me of.
Frisky are we?
Aye. Mr. Powers, no. Okay, Mr. Powers.
See, there's another guy who sort of like really went recluse, hasn't he? Mike Myers.
He was in Bohemian Rhapsody.
I know, but he's sort of been taking little roles, but he hasn't really he's not been name checked as a big Bill film.
He's definitely he's gone in the dark side of things, like, he doesn't really stand out. I don't know if he does a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. But him and, what do you call it? They've done a couple of Wayne's World sketches, haven't they?
Dana Carvey.
Over the years. I'm sure, like, not like obviously regularly, but I think the last 2 or 3 big things they've done have both been like SNL.
Yeah, look at Ray Winston's torch. It looks like a lightsaber hilt. Zoom.
Ray Winston was really good in The Departed.
Yeah, very good. I love that film. Probably one of my best films, to be honest.
Have you seen 44 Inch Chest?
No.
It's an interesting film, like it's kind of not what you expect. It almost gives off the vibe of like a Guy Ritchie kind of British London gangster kind of film, but it's a little bit more.
It's about a guy who goes to Primark to get like a T-shirt and 44-inch chest. Is that it?
It's only one.
I don't think it is, mate.
I don't think there's been a bad Guy Ritchie film. That new one, The Gentleman's Class.
I've just literally watched a clip on YouTube of that when Charlie Hunnam's chasing him down for the phone. It's hilarious because when you listen to him shout, he cannot not sound Geordie.
I know.
It's just so funny when he shouts. It's just like, yeah, you can't hide that. Like,
This bit's
was he from
as well.
Geordie? Was he from Baker Grove?
Queer as folk.
yeah, he's from Newcastle, right?
I'm sure he was in Baker Grove.
He was.
He was into. There's a good clip. I think it's Graham Norton. He explains. It's basically it's not accidental, but he's not an actor. He was basically shoe shopping for his brother on like Christmas Eve or something stupid like that, and apparently a woman approached him and said, "Do you fancy doing a scene for us in this program called Baker Grove?"
One of the lasses our school was in Baker Grove, wasn't she?
It's only in one scene. That's kind of one of the. It's a regional thing, and I think anyone who's like around this area knows at least one person who was in Baker Grove.
Baker Grove. Yeah.
When I was at college, I had a treatment for a movie, Baker Grove, the movie. Yeah, Jeff gets kidnapped. Okay, from like a different kind of like grove, like so let's say like the Bladen Boys or something like that, like a competing like youth hostel. Yeah, and he gets kidnapped, and Declan go around Newcastle solving mysteries to find where Jeff is, with little supporting cast and stuff.
But how could they find him, man? He's blind, man.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it'll be help from like supporting people and that. But yeah, Better Grove the movie. Goes with me, Ghostbusters the musical I wrote also.
Paul Ray, man, full of ideas.
That's true now.
Yeah,
Just doesn't do anything.
You can have them ones. I'm not claiming them ones of mine.
Loads of copyright from Paul Ray Enterprises 2021.
You heard it here first, guys.
I could say we'll all be sitting here in a couple of years' time and you know what it is, we'll laugh at him. But he has going places now.
Better Grove the movie. The sequel's out soon. It's like John Wick.
What's your thoughts on John Wick?
Come back at John Wick.
Well, John Wick is a mint thing we can do a podcast on because John Wick is fucking ace.
It is like it's like literally flawless so far. Like.
Yeah. Who would win? Out of John Wick and the guy in Bob out of the Equalizer?
Yeah.
John
I don't want to jinx it, but I've just got a funny feeling that the next John Wick film might be the one that kind of drops off. I just feel it's really weird how he's doing that. Well, he's not now, but like during film when he was doing that as well as like with the Matrix, they were both going to be released on the same day. It was just like, how do you do a Matrix sequel and then do a John Wick sequel and then do it well? You know,
They should have ended the Matrix after the second one.
First one?
No, there's only one Matrix.
There is?
No.
The third one's the best one.
Shut up, man.
There's only
Never
one.
even seen the
There's only
third one.
one Matrix
Fucking
film.
bad, the third one.
I've literally bought the first one on Blu-ray a couple of years ago, and that's it. I don't need another one.
That's a hard purchase, that, because the box set's only a tenner, and you're paying $7.99 for the first one on its own.
It's a good.
See what I'm saying?
That's
$7.99 you ever paid
a
for
friend
it.
of mine who I used to work with, he got a digi book. I think it was for France at the time, and he ended up selling us that. So I'm happy. Don't need another one.
So this has been on for nearly 2 hours. We've only talked about for like an hour of it so far.
Because it's shit, that's why.
It's nearly finished.
I know.
It's not great, like.
I'm counting down the
sort of
second
like,
until it's finished.
I reckon if you take Indiana Jones out and then put it on Netflix, this would be a reasonably good film. I think the issue that I'm having is that it's such a massive franchise and the first three are so high up there in terms of like what know that it's just not working at all.
Do you think that the digital effects have dated it?
The digital
No.
effects are absolutely shit.
Yeah. Like TV movie effects now.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this is what you expect from a poor TV now, because the biggest issue these days is not really an issue. We're kind of spoiled for content, but the TV is almost as good as movies now when it comes to effects.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But this is what I would say is a bad TV movie.
TV is the future really now for movies if you think about it with HBO Max
absolutely.
Well, if you think
Released on the
Netflix
same day
originals,
now.
Prime originals, Sky originals,
Yeah.
I think it'll take a lot for me to go and see another movie at the pictures.
I'm not going to pictures there again. Do you?
I think there's a
After
lot to
It.
still go to the cinema for. Like, one of the biggest things we mentioned the other day was that it's going to be criminal that we don't get to see King Kong on the big screen, but
Yeah, I'll be watching that in a few days' time.
that's this week.
How are you going to be watching that?
You're gonna rent it.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Is it?
Oh Mason, you've let yourself down now.
Why?
It's not like you.
What's no? It's on Amazon Prime.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's not like you, is it?
We've got to pay for
You
it.
normally wait till the pictures.
How much is it?
I know,
It's
but
not coming out of the
like you.
pictures. It's not coming out of the pictures.
How much
That's
is
the
it?
same. They probably
I
will.
haven't announced it yet.
no, it's not. If it gets, it'll be like a limited release later on down the line, but it's not getting released officially.
As I said, I really want to get one of those limited cards, but then I'm like, is it worth it, Carl? Is it worth £10 a month? And nothing's out for another like 6 months.
The only thing Carl got with his limited card was COVID. Limited card.
It is, that's what I got. I got COVID for my troubles. And I wasn't even watching a new film, it was bloody reruns. I think it was, what was it, Nightmare Before Christmas?
Ah, it doesn't matter.
That's what you get for licking the
But,
seats.
I agree. No, I would say that now I wouldn't rush, really. Because, I don't know, this year, I've got like the layout of what's coming out this year, and there's nothing mind-blowing.
No.
Top Gun 2 coming out this year.
Maverick.
Do you want?
Top Gun 2.
Well, I could say there's a couple of good ones, but I don't know, like if they're going to be great. I think
Ghostbusters.
it's going to be more nostalgia.
Ghostbusters looks awesome.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I probably would say. Actually, you're right.
But it depends, because I mean you got Spider-Man. There's a lot of films
Yeah.
coming out that's like
Unless
it's going to make money.
unless Tobey Maguire is in it, then I'm not going to see Spider-Man until it comes out.
Well, I mean, the irony is that they're already rumoured that he is in it, but you know what I mean?
but
It's like,
that's what I'm saying. That's what it's rumoured. But like I said, he kind of handles his own film. He needs supporting cast. And Far From Home was just European vacation with Spider-Man. That's all it was.
By the way, I've seen the new Spider-Man.
The thing is, if Sam Raimi's doing Doctor Strange too, Tobey Maguire needs to end up at the end of that. Is like that's the nod to Sam Raimi in Spider-Man. That can set up the next Spider-Man.
Bruce
Well, I think
Campbell should
we're
be
going to get rid of
probably somewhere.
Tom, what
I
do you
think
call
you're
it?
supposed to.
No. They're meant to have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and the new Spider-Man all in the next Spider-Man. Shattered
Yeah,
Dimension thing.
like a Spider-Verse.
Oh, I think that could be a recipe for disaster.
Because the rumour is Tom Cruise is going to appear as Iron Man.
At this point, it sounds awful. I think it's going to be. I think people love, like, it's one of those things where people love Tom Holland so much that it doesn't matter what the film's going to be like. People are going to love it regardless. It's kind of like Justice League to Snyder Cut.
Well, people like Harrison
love
Ford,
it,
but this is
that no matter what they
absolutely
release,
dire.
it was always going to pursue to be good. But
I think for the last hour we've not even spoke about this film because it's that bad.
I tried to, but it got a bit boring with stuff.
It's just terrible.
well,
Now we've got a
I think,
spaceship.
to be honest with you, you've got to be able to like kind of read the room. So I think we could have talked about it a lot more, but I honestly think it would be really boring. I think like we'll just be shitting on it. That's all we'll be doing. So we'll talk about other things.
I mean, don't get us wrong. There's a lot of work gone into this when it was made, because it wouldn't have been. They wouldn't have cheaped it. It just hasn't aged well.
But this is it though, like, obviously they've gone with the idea, let's do Indiana Jones, but now we've got, like, the effects to really do something big. But the thing is, that's where a lot of people fall short, because bigger doesn't always make better.
I mean, his
the
definitely...
aliens scares me, and yeah, like, it's horrible.
Well, like, his Ray Winston's death, you know, the whip and all that, alright, Joe, there's just no threat, you're just waiting for him. By the time he gets swept off, finally he's gone. I mean, does she die? I mean, not really. I mean, they're giving her all the knowledge. Does she not become the greater good or something?
Didn't she head blow up or something? Or am I getting confused?
Yeah, she just
eyes pop out or something.
aye.
Again, they said they're not aliens, they're interdimensional travelers, isn't it? That's what they say.
So aliens.
Yeah, but that's like saying, it's not an alien, it's just an extraterrestrial.
It's an interdimensional traveler.
Again, though, you can put any word you want on it, it's still a...
It's Paul.
Call it tomato bread, it's still a tomato.
I mean, would you really think you were going to Indiana Jones and the last thing you're going to see is a fucking alien?
Goddamn grey aliens are the worst. Those do my head in those grey aliens.
Well, they do look a lot like the aliens in Independence Day. If you
Yeah, to be fair, I think she died. If not, when she gets sucked up, she's definitely getting pulled.
She's not coming out of that, like.
No.
Stephen, your face. You said we can see anything on these things. They don't pull facial expressions like that.
You're a fucking probe. Carl's got a massive vagina problem. Paul Ray.
It's aliens. You're allowed to say things like that in alien movies.
Paul Ray just chips in.
Listen, the day you think the word vagina is a problem means that you've got the problem, son.
Exactly.
Vagina equates life. It looks sorry, dependent.
Looks alright. I've seen a couple that looks like a train wreck.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it, but I realised no, not all of them do.
Right,
Like,
stop talking about
depending
vaginas
on
and opening a can of worms, and I won't be able to stop myself if I start.
Plus, we're going up a massive hole, and we're fucking.
That's what she said.
Mason, in what world did you think she might have survived?
Who survived?
What's she called?
Earlier on, you said you don't even know if she died.
No, she gets all the knowledge into her head, and she dissolves and goes up into the spaceship.
Usually, when people dissolve, there's no more of them.
Aye, but she's reaching enlightenment. She's.
It's not as bad as your John Wayne, but it might be up there. Like.
Right, I was telling you, right, Optimus Prime's role model was fucking, like, the designers was fucking John Wayne. That's from the creator. They always take the piss out of me.
Why would you ever think that Optimus
It's just
Prime
it was the way you said it. It's like, oh, he's modelled after John Wayne.
Well, he
like,
was.
No, he's fucking robot.
There you go, there's a spaceship.
Mr. Cockburn.
The correct way you should have said it is his personality was modelled after him. The way you made it sound like he was actually modelled.
Why are they two just having a cuddle at the side?
To be fair, if I was Indiana Jones and I seen loads of flying boulders, like, I definitely wouldn't be.
Now, there's one thing we haven't talked about, though, and it's because maybe the sound's down, but I don't think the score's very dominant in this.
Nah, it didn't stand out like, did it?
I mean, technically, that big creator could essentially be, well, not now, it's full of like, but it's like all Close Encounters again, isn't it? Dun, 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 dun.
Well, Close Encounters wasn't a crater, was it? It was actually the Devil's Tower.
I know, calm down, it's a real location, I know.
And it was coordinates the aliens give so they can actually swap pilots from 1930s to NASA scientists now and, you know, become friends. Jesus Christ.
Honestly,
Well, the
Paul, I'm
aliens
not gonna lie, you
they're
turned
not
me
like
on with your mind.
extra-dimensional things.
No, those were aliens actually.
Paul's been alright, actually, for the last couple of podcasts. He hasn't had a stroke in a while.
That's because my phone's been behaving.
I mean, the sacrifice is we had to sit around 10 minutes when we connect, but I'll have that. Right?
We all know what Paul was doing for the first 10 minutes.
Reset your phone so it wouldn't project. That'd be 2 minutes, that. I was resetting my phone so it would work alright, you know. What can't afford iPhones these days?
We'll give the
8%
audience...
furlough, you know.
That's your problem when you go with Apple. Android all the way.
Exactly,
Yeah,
Carl.
I've got Android. That's all I use. Hate Apple.
How come from having slick back hair he's now got curtains?
Because his gel's worn off, he's just got wet, he's been in a tunnel of water.
What, and it's just automatically turned to curtains?
I don't know, I've got no hair, I don't know, I can't remember what happens.
When your beard gets wet, Mason, does it go to curtains?
No, it just goes down in raggedy. Stop looking at me beard.
I'm jealous. Wish my beard was still here.
Do you not think Mason looks like 100 years younger? When I was watching his video clips of 2015 and now, he looks so much younger without a beard.
Alright, Paul.
Obviously, that was 7 years ago.
Stalk us a bit, it's fine.
They said there's a video today. This first 25 minutes was you explaining about Lonely Tree logo.
The video was only on 12 minutes, so I just how that's happened.
Yeah, it feels like 20 minutes.
You know you're marrying an old chick when she's got a suit on.
Should she be wearing white?
Well, I know, she's wearing white.
Should she though?
It's impressive that it's still white though.
See, short round should be here. This is where short round should be.
Short round.
What do you mean? You reckon just what? Just climbs over the wall randomly?
You call him Dr. Jones, sweetheart.
Imagine if he fell from the sky in a dinghy. That would have been perfect.
Oh my god.
It's me, Dr. Jones.
What was going on with that priest, by the way?
It was this bit when I went to see the cinema where like the door opens and the hat flies down. I'm like, don't you dare pick it up. Don't you dare pick it up and we're putting on. I was about to walk out of the cinema, you know. I'm not joking.
Well, you're obviously going to walk out the cinema in the fucking film.
No, I was. I was just going to walk out there and then. The bit here, you know, with the hat blowing on the
Passing of
ground.
the torch.
I was like, don't you dare. So we went to go down, pick it up. I was like, right, get your stuff. Gonna go. Just gonna walk out. Give me money back.
Have you ever asked for your money back of the pictures, Paul? You the kind of person that think you would.
No, never.
And that's
Because I
it.
believe in supporting the film industry.
So, how then, Paul? What is it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it.
No, well,
I haven't
what
got
is
a
it?
tagline for it.
How many muds? How many alien heads?
I haven't got one. I'm not joking. I haven't got one for it. I've just been so out of it.
Right.
Right, so we'll stick with how many muds then?
How many
Yeah.
sword fighting on the back of a fucking moving car? Just name how many swinging monkeys? I'll
Oh, no,
start.
I've got one.
Alright, what is it?
How many Joneses would you give it?
Wow. Like 3 of anything. I give it 3 for effort that they've got Harrison Ford back, Steven Spielberg.
For 65 million, you can't really say no. Someone said, Jack, you've done 3 really good films. I'm going to give you 65 million for this one. What do you think about it? I'm like, yes.
No, but that's it. I can't give it any more. It's too long. Not really much happens, and the CGI completely ruins the film. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Alright, I'll turn it on this one then. What are you giving it 3 for? Because effort's a bit of a cop-out.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that question.
Well, again, I give it 3 for it's the right time. Like Shia LaBeouf is the right cast for Indiana Jones' son, and it's again getting together at the time, and that's where they were probably ending going towards. I like it how they've done it. I like the nuclear fallout place at the start. I think there's some great visuals there. I like the Area 51 thing. I just don't like the very long middle bit where it goes nowhere.
Fair enough, yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not far behind you. It's a 2 for me. I mean, like I say, music was just not there. I do appreciate the fact that they did get some of the original cast back, so you get that smidgen of nostalgia. I mean, it's always going to be nice to see Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. I feel like, again, I went into cinema watching this thinking, this is great because I'm at least going to get to see Indiana Jones again. The story's just absolutely pap. The actors are not on the strongest end. Like Kate Blanchett is a great actress, brilliant actress, but she did not do anything for me in this. I would say like a tier 2 is probably fair, just purely based on the fact that again the special effects are shit, but there's a lot of work on behind it, and they did turn up and they did try and create something new, and I think we all forget like 2008 was kind of a long time ago, so it's just one of those things where they tried to look and it just fell flat. 2 Joneses out of 10.
2 Joneses.
I'm going 2
I'm giving it
Joneses.
something the same.
2-2.
Yeah, me too. I'll just say the first half. I love the first half. The alien idea is a really good idea, but it's not executed well in this film. I said the stories just went all over the place. The effects were just all over the place, and yeah, I give it a 2. To be honest, like it's my least favourite Jones film.
Jack, why are you giving
What
it
about you,
2?
Jack?
2 Joneses. Again, the very first bit about Area 51 and the fact that it eventually ended. That was it. It's the only thing I can give it. The first bit was actually quite good. The rest of it is just pap. As we guessed by, we didn't talk about the film hardly within the last hour of the hour of it. So yeah, unfortunately, it's definitely the worst out of like 100%. The worst one yet.
Now there we go. So this has been the. Just before we go, for me, Temple of Doom is my favourite, followed by I would say Raiders of the Lost Ark, then The Last Crusade, and then The Kingdom Skull. For me, what about you, Paul?
Raiders, Temple, Last Crusade, and then obviously Crystal Skull, the last one. So really in order for me.
Yeah, for me, I've made it quite clear, but it's Raiders, Last Crusade, Temple of Doom, Crystal Skull.
Jack?
I'm a little bit shocked by Carlos, but yeah, same as you, Stephen.
Temple.
Doom, Ark.
Safe to agree that though, Kingdom Skull is the worst in the quadrilogy now.
At least
At
least we can all agree on that one.
Our next series will be Jaws. We're going to start as well, unless any lads throw any other requests in the meantime. So,
John Wick.
John Wick. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now.